Hey guys, my name is Chrissy. This is my blog number 5. This week's reading was called The Texture of Reality. The two main points that I wanted to focus on today were self-similar and renormalization. So, as I was reading the idea of renormalization, I came upon that, and what I read about it, it's a method, I'm reading straight off the paper, a method for finding the limiting infinitesimal structure of a self-similar object or process by repeatedly magnifying smaller and smaller parts of the whole. So, when I was reading this, the first thing that came to mind is the idea that different signs are, it's a little hard to explain, but they can be two different signs that have two separate meanings put together. And the idea of breaking down the signs into, smaller signs of the whole. So an example for you would be believe. So the sign for believe is this. And what this means is this is think, and this means marry. So think together. So it's believe. Another one would be sister or brother. So we have boy and girl. So when you say sister or brother, this is the brother or sister part of it, and this is what tells you whether it's a brother or a sister. So you come from up here, bring your fingers together, your hands together. So brother, sister. Another one is disagree. So again, we have think and then opposite. So disagree. And the opposite of that is agree, think similar. So think together. So that's what I thought of when I heard of this renormalization. So it's the idea that signs can be broken down into smaller meanings, which is this idea that the smaller parts of the whole, you're magnifying something. So this actually leads into the self-similar, which says here, by definition, does not have characteristic length scales, and they look much the same on many different scales of measurement. So the example that was used in the article is a tiny piece of coastline magnified 10 times still looks like a coastline, excuse me. So what came to mind when I read that was the idea that there are signs that can be signed different ways with the same meaning. So just as if you focus on the coastline, you're really like, you look at it very in depth. If you magnify 10 times and you get really, really small, it's not going to change. Everything's going to stay the same no matter how much you magnify it. So the examples that I have for this are the sign deaf. So when I first started learning sign language, I learned deaf, and as I progressed through the different levels, I learned that you can sign it deaf or deaf, and it still has the same meaning. It doesn't change anything. Another example is parents. So you have male and female. So put them together. Parents can be signed going chin to forehead or forehead to chin. Doesn't matter. Same idea for the word sign. You can sign it forwards. I'm sorry, that's backwards. Or you can sign it forwards. It doesn't matter. It's still the same meaning. So, it's the idea that you can analyze and really focus in on something, but it doesn't change what the big picture is. So the meaning of death or death stays the same. Just like if you magnify the coastline, it doesn't change it. So that's what I have for you this week. I will see you next week.